Okay, have you guys heard about DeepSeek? I mean,
Okay.
it's like everywhere right now.
Yeah, it's definitely making some waves.
And for good reason, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're making some seriously big, bold claims, 30 times faster
Wow.
and cheaper than ChatGPT.
Yeah, I saw that.
Access to over 150 different AI models.
It's a lot.
They can create everything, like websites, 8K videos.
Pretty much anything you can think of.
Some are calling it a revolution, and honestly, I could see why.
It's pretty impressive, yeah.
But with all the hype, it's kind of hard to know what to believe.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
So today, we're diving deep into DeepSeek.
Hmm.
We're going to figure out, is it really a game changer? Or is it just, clever marketing?
Right.
So what is DeepSeek? What is it all about?
Well, at its core, it's basically a platform.
Okay.
It aggregates all these different AI models, over 150 of them, including big names like, ChatGPT,
I
Midjourney,
thought that.
DLE.
Oh, wow.
And it gives you this user-friendly dashboard to access all of them.
Okay, so instead of having to go to all these different websites and platforms,
Yeah.
you can just go to one place.
One-stop shop for all your AI needs.
Gotcha. Now, something you mentioned earlier that I thought was super interesting is that DeepSeek is really positioning itself as an alternative to those big, AI players like OpenAI and Google.
Yeah, they're definitely going for that.
What's the strategy there?
Well, it's all about open source AI.
Okay,
So instead of using those closed proprietary models, DeepSeek's built on the idea that the code should be publicly accessible.
I see.
And that's a huge deal for how AI develops and who has access to it.
So you're saying that with DeepSeek, anyone can, see how the AI works,
Potentially, yes.
contribute to its development,
Yep.
build their own applications without being, restricted by a big corporation?
Exactly. It's like taking the power back from the big guys.
That's a huge shift in the AI landscape, right?
Absolutely. And it kind of explains why they're claiming to be so much cheaper than ChatGPT.
Okay, so how does that work?
Well, they say by leveraging open source models and cutting out the need for that expensive infrastructure,
Well,
they can offer access to a vast library of AI capabilities for way less money.
I see. So that's the big picture, the overall concept. But let's get into the specifics. What can you actually do with DeepSeek?
Oh man, where do we even begin? The list is pretty extensive.
Hit me with some highlights.
All right, so one of the most talked about features is generating 8K videos.
8K videos.
Yeah, think about that. You could make pro quality videos for your business, your YouTube channel,
Okay.
just for fun even, all without needing fancy equipment or editing skills.
Wow.
DeepSeek says they handle everything for you, the visuals, the music, the transitions, the whole shebang.
So you're telling me I can create an 8K video in, seconds?
They make it sound that easy, yeah.
I mean, that's some serious Jetsons level stuff, right?
It does sound a little too good to be true, I'll admit.
Right. There's got to be a catch, right?
Well, like any AI tool, there are probably some limitations. We need to look into things like video length, the complexity of the visuals you can create, and how much you can actually customize things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Their marketing really pushes the speed and ease of use, but we need to dig deeper to understand how it all actually works.
Yeah, good point. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement, but we got to stay grounded.
Absolutely.
So besides making these super high-def videos, what else can DeepSeek do?
Well, they also have this powerful website builder.
Okay.
They claim it can create professional-looking sites, again, in seconds. The focus is on speed and simplicity.
So anyone can use it, even if they don't know how to code.
That's what they say. They suggest anyone can design and launch a website using DeepSeek, whether it's for their business or their personal brand.
Okay, so we got videos, websites. What about other content, like blog posts, articles? Can it do that?
Oh, yeah, they definitely go there too. They say their AI can generate high-quality, engaging content on pretty much any topic. From blog posts, marketing copy,
Wow.
even full-fledged ebooks. And of course, they emphasize that it's all original content, so no plagiarism worries.
It's like they're trying to be the one-stop shop for all your content needs.
That's the idea, it seems.
But again, how's the quality?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Does it live up to the hype?
It's something we'll need to investigate further. We'll be looking at user reviews, some independent analyses, and even comparing DeepSeek's output to other AI content tools out there.
Okay, good. Now, one thing that's really grabbed my attention is their focus on chatbots.
Oh, yeah, that's a hot topic right now.
They claim their chatbot builder is, way ahead of the game, even capable of creating AI assistants that are indistinguishable from humans.
Yeah, that's a pretty bold claim.
I know, right? What do you think about that?
It's definitely intriguing, raises a lot of questions about the future of customer service, online interactions, even like the nature of work itself.
Right. Imagine a world where you can't even tell if you're talking to a real person or a chatbot.
I know, it's kind of freaky, right?
It's fascinating and a little bit creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
So what does all of this mean for us?
Well, it really highlights the importance of considering the ethical side of AI as it gets more sophisticated.
Okay.
Transparency, accountability, responsible development, all that stuff becomes even more critical as we venture into this, uncharted territory.
All right, so we've touched on some of DeepSeek's key features. Generating 8K videos, building websites, creating content, building these like super realistic chatbots.
Mm-hmm.
But how does it actually work?
Right. Good question.
What's the technology behind all of this?
Well, at the heart of it all is this thing they call the R1 AI model.
R1, okay.
They claim it's a revolutionary leap forward in AI. They say this R1 model is what allows them to access and use all these other 150 plus AI models,
Okay.
basically creating this interconnected network of AI capabilities.
So it's like DeepSeek is the conductor,
I like that analysis.
orchestrating all these different AI models to do different things.
That's a good way to put it.
That's pretty impressive. But I'm curious, if they're incorporating all these existing models,
Right.
what makes DeepSeek unique? What's the, secret sauce?
That's what we'll be exploring next. We'll dive deeper into the technical details, try to understand how this R1 model works, and see what really makes it different.
Okay.
We'll also be looking at how they integrate all these models and if they really work as seamlessly as they claim.
Right, because that's a big question.
It is.
We're starting to peel back the layers of DeepSeek, but the real question is, does it deliver? Are these features as impressive as they sound?
To figure that out, we got to go beyond the marketing and dive into real-world experiences.
Okay.
What are users saying? Are they actually creating those stunning videos, building websites in minutes, or are there limitations that the marketing glosses over?
That's what we'll be tackling in the next part of our deep dive. We'll be exploring user reviews, independent analyses, and comparing DeepSeek to other AI tools on the market.
Sounds good.
We'll also look at some case studies, people and businesses using DeepSeek to see its practical applications and potential impact.
I'm looking forward to that.
So stay tuned for part 2, where we'll separate the hype from reality and determine if DeepSeek is truly the game changer it claims to be.
So welcome back to our deep dive into DeepSeek. In part 1, we kind of scratched the surface of DeepSeek. We looked at some of their claims and got a sense of what it can potentially do. Now I think it's time to dig a little deeper.
Yeah, let's get into the tech. I remember you mentioned something called, was the R1 AI model
Yeah, that's the one.
being at the heart of DeepSeek.
That's right.
What exactly is that, and what makes it so special?
Well, their marketing materials describe it as a revolutionary leap forward in artificial intelligence. They say it's significantly faster, more efficient, and more adaptable than other AI models out there.
Okay.
And they claim that this is the driving force behind DeepSeek's ability to access and use all those other AI models, those 150 plus models they keep talking about,
Right.
creating this interconnected network of AI capabilities.
So if I'm understanding this right, the R1 model isn't just about creating content or building websites itself. It's more like the brains of the operation, the thing that coordinates and controls all the other AI tools they have access to.
Yeah, you got it. Think of it like, I don't know, an orchestra conductor.
Okay, yeah.
The R1 model might not be playing any instruments itself, but it's directing all the other musicians. It's telling them when to come in, how loud to play, and basically how to work together to create this harmonious symphony.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I got to ask, how does this R1 model actually work? What's the magic behind the curtain?
Well, that's the thing. DeepSeek's been a little tight-lipped about the actual technical details. They give you this high-level overview of its capabilities, but they keep the specifics pretty close to the chest.
Really? What do you think that is?
Probably to protect their intellectual property.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we don't really know how it works, but we're just supposed to trust that it's this revolutionary new AI.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a degree of trust involved, which is why it's important to look beyond those marketing claims and see what independent experts are saying and, what actual users are experiencing.
Right, right.
We need to see if it actually delivers on its promises in real-world situations.
So let's talk about those real-world applications then.
Yeah.
We've discussed how DeepSeek can be used to create those, like 8K videos, build websites, generate all sorts of content. But are people actually using it for those things? And are they getting the results they expect?
Okay, so that's where it gets really interesting. We've been digging into user reviews, case studies, independent analyses, just to get a better understanding of how DeepSeek performs in practice.
And what have you found? What's the verdict?
That's kind of a mixed bag. You get a little bit of everything, which is to be expected, I guess, with any new technology. Some users are totally over the moon about DeepSeek. Yeah, they're like raving about its speed, the ease of use, and the quality of the results.
Wow. So some people are actually creating those stunning 8K videos and building those professional-looking websites in, like, minutes, just like the marketing suggests.
Yeah, some are. We've seen like marketers using it to create landing pages that convert really well. Bloggers pumping out super engaging content for their websites.
Got it.
Even small businesses making like professional quality videos for their social media channels. And they're doing it all in like a fraction of the time it would normally take.
That's impressive. But you said it's a mixed bag, so what are the other users saying?
Well, some users have reported like glitches and bugs,
Yeah.
especially in those early days when the platform was just launched.
Yeah, I guess that's to be expected with any new software, right?
Yeah, it's pretty normal. And it
Yeah.
seems like DeepSeek's been on top of things, addressing those issues with updates and patches.
All right, so some growing pains, that makes sense. What other, like, concerns are people raising?
Another thing that comes up a lot is that DeepSeek can be a bit overwhelming for new users.
Okay, how so?
Well, it's packed with features.
Right.
So many options, which is great if you're an experienced AI user, but if you're just starting out, it can be pretty daunting.
Yeah, I can see that. It's kind of like getting one of those fancy new cameras with all the bells and whistles, right?
Absolutely.
It takes a while to figure out all the settings and get the best results.
Exactly. And while they do offer like tutorials and documentation to help users get up to speed, it's definitely something to be aware of, especially if you're not super tech savvy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, another thing that I think is super important with these AI tools is the quality of the outputs.
Right. Absolutely.
We've heard some good things, but are there any, like, objective measures of DeepSeek's performance?
Well, there have been a few independent analyses that have compared DeepSeek's outputs to those produced by other AI tools,
Mm-hmm.
specifically in areas like content creation and video generation. And the results are actually pretty encouraging. DeepSeek generally performs well in terms of speed, accuracy, and overall quality.
So it's not all just hype. There's actually some substance behind the claims.
Yeah, it seems that way. But it's important to remember that AI is still a relatively young technology. And while DeepSeek is impressive, it's not a magic bullet.
Right.
It's a tool. And like any tool, its effectiveness really depends on the skill and the experience of the person using it.
Yeah, it's like giving someone a, fancy new power drill.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they can suddenly build a house if they have no idea about carpentry.
Exactly. And that actually brings us to a really crucial aspect of DeepSeek. It's integration of all those different AI models.
Right, the over 150 models they have access to?
Exactly.
Okay, so remind me again, how does DeepSeek manage to incorporate all these different models and make them work together seamlessly?
Well, that's a question that still doesn't have a clear answer. They haven't really released detailed information about how their system is actually structured or how they integrate these models.
So it's kind of a black box then. Like, we know what goes in and what comes out, but not necessarily how it all works in the middle.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. And it's something that some users and experts have expressed some concerns about. They'd like to see more transparency about how they're combining these models, what data they're using to train them, and how they're ensuring the quality and consistency of the output.
Yeah, transparency is always important, especially when you're dealing with, like, powerful technology like AI.
Absolutely.
So while DeepSeek is showing a lot of promise, there are still some questions about, its inner workings and how it actually manages to orchestrate all these different AI models.
Exactly. And that's definitely something we'll be keeping an eye on as they continue to evolve and develop.
Okay, so we've delved into the technology a bit, explored some real-world applications, and talked about both the strengths and limitations. Now I'm curious about the bigger picture. Like, how could DeepSeek potentially impact different industries?
Oh man, this is where things get really interesting. I mean, DeepSeek is so versatile and it can adapt to so many different situations. It could be applied to a whole range of industries: marketing, content creation, customer service, even education, you name it.
Wow, okay. So let's start with marketing. How could DeepSeek potentially shake things up for marketers?
Imagine being able to create personalized marketing campaigns, like at scale,
Right.
analyzing customer data in real time, and then optimizing your strategies for maximum impact, all with the help of AI.
Okay.
DeepSeek could basically streamline the entire marketing process, free up marketers to focus on the strategy, the creativity, the big picture
See,
stuff.
that sounds like a dream, right?
Yeah.
No more spending hours on those repetitive tasks. More time to brainstorm those big ideas and connect with customers on a deeper level.
Exactly. And it's not just about efficiency, it's also about access. DeepSeek could give marketers access to insights and capabilities that were previously out of reach.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
Imagine being able to generate highly targeted ads that hit the right people every time,
Hmm.
create personalized content that resonates with specific audiences, or even predict customer behavior with a high degree of accuracy.
Wow, that's like next level marketing.
Yeah.
But it makes me think about the ethical side of things. If AI is making decisions about who sees what ads and what kind of content they're exposed to, how do we make sure those decisions are fair?
That's a really important point. As AI becomes more and more embedded in marketing, we need to be super aware of potential biases.
Right.
We need to make sure these systems are used responsibly and ethically. Transparency, accountability, and human oversight are absolutely key.
Absolutely. Okay, so we talked about marketing. Let's move on to content creation. We've already touched on how DeepSeek can generate, blog posts, articles, even video scripts. But I'm curious, how could this technology change the way content is produced on a larger scale?
All right, so picture this. News outlets using AI to generate breaking news reports, like instantly in multiple languages.
Okay.
Publishers creating personalized ebooks tailored to individual reader interests. Educational institutions developing interactive learning materials that adapt to each student's learning style.
Wow, so it's not just about automating the creation of simple content.
No, not at all.
It's about fundamentally changing the way we produce and consume content.
Exactly. It's about making it more dynamic, more personalized, more responsive to individual needs and interests.
Okay, but what about the human element? I mean, are we going to see AI replace writers, journalists, educators altogether?
That's a question that's being debated like crazy right now.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Some people are really worried that AI is going to lead to job losses. But others think it's more about augmenting human capabilities, freeing us up from those repetitive, mundane tasks and allowing us to focus on more creative and strategic work.
So instead of replacing us, AI could become a tool that helps us do our jobs better.
Exactly. It's all about collaboration. And it's important to remember that AI, at least for now, still lacks that human touch, the creativity, the empathy, the critical thinking skills.
Right. AI can be great at generating content based on data and patterns.
Mm-hmm.
But it can't really replicate that nuanced understanding of human emotions and experiences, the cultural context, all those things that make stories truly engaging.
You got it. And that's why it's so important to approach AI as a tool to be used in collaboration with human expertise, not as a replacement.
Okay, so we've talked about marketing and content creation. What other industries could DeepSeek disrupt?
Well, another big one is customer service. Imagine businesses being able to provide 24/7 support, personalize interactions, and resolve issues quickly and efficiently, all using AI-powered chatbots.
Right, we talked about how impressive DeepSeek's chatbot builder is. They even claim to create chatbots that are indistinguishable from humans. But I'm curious, how would that actually work in a real customer service setting?
Think about all those times you've been frustrated with those automated phone systems or those chatbots that just don't understand your question.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Well, DeepSeek's chatbots could potentially eliminate that frustration.
Okay.
They could provide these seamless, natural-sounding conversations that actually make customers feel heard and understood.
That would be a huge game changer, right?
Absolutely. Businesses could save money and keep their customers happy, and customers could get their issues resolved quickly without having to jump through hoops.
Right, everyone wins. But it also raises some questions about jobs. If AI is handling all the customer service, what happens to the people who currently work in those roles?
That's a valid concern, and it's something we need to think about carefully as AI becomes more and more common in the workplace. Some experts believe AI will create new job opportunities. Others worry it will lead to massive unemployment. The reality is probably somewhere in between. Some jobs will definitely be automated, others will be created, and some will just, transform.
Yeah, it's a complex issue with no easy answers.
For sure. It's a conversation that needs to involve everyone. Tech folks, policymakers, business leaders, workers themselves.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Okay, so we've covered marketing, content creation, customer service. Any other industries where DeepSeek could make a splash?
Education is one that I find really exciting.
Okay, how so?
Imagine using AI-powered tools to personalize learning experiences, creating interactive educational content, providing students with individual feedback and support.
So instead of the one-size-fits-all approach that we often see in education,
Yeah, exactly.
AI can help tailor learning to each student's needs and abilities. That's a pretty radical
Yeah.
idea.
It is. It has the potential to completely change how we learn and teach. Think about it. DeepSeek could be used to create adaptive learning platforms. Platforms that adjust to a student's progress, provide personalized recommendations for learning materials, even offer real-time feedback on assignments and tests.
That's amazing. It can be a game changer for students who struggle in traditional classrooms, or for students who are ahead of the curve and need more challenging material.
Exactly. And it could free up teachers from some of those more tedious tasks, grading, administrative stuff.
Right? Free them up to focus on actually mentoring students and fostering deeper learning experiences.
Exactly.
So DeepSeek could potentially transform education from a standardized, one-size-fits-all model to a personalized, student-centered approach.
That's the idea.
That's pretty amazing. But are there any potential downsides? Like, what are some of the risks or challenges we should be thinking about?
Well, one concern that always comes up with AI is the potential for bias. If the AI is trained on data that reflects, existing societal biases, then those biases could end up being amplified in the educational materials.
That's a crucial point. We definitely don't want to perpetuate existing inequalities through AI.
Absolutely. And we also need to think about the impact on teachers. While AI can be a valuable tool, we need to make sure it's used to enhance, not replace, the expertise and guidance that teachers provide.
Right. It's all about finding that balance.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've explored the potential impact on marketing, content creation, customer service, even education. We've looked at both the upsides and the downsides. So now the big question, is DeepSeek the revolution they're making it out to be? Or is it just hype?
That's what we'll be tackling in the final part of our deep dive. We're going to take a closer look at those user reviews, examine some case studies, and analyze independent assessments of DeepSeek's performance.
Sounds good.
We'll also be diving into the ethical considerations surrounding this powerful technology and really thinking about the potential implications for the future of work, education, and society as a whole.
This is getting intense.
I know, right? It's a lot to unpack.
Well, I can't wait to get into it. So for everyone listening, stay tuned for part 3, where we separate the hype from reality and determine if DeepSeek is truly as groundbreaking as it seems.
Okay, so we spent the last 2 parts of our deep dive really getting to know DeepSeek. We've looked at the tech behind it, its potential impact on all kinds of industries. But now it's time for the big question. Does it actually live up to all the hype?
Right. I mean, it's the question everyone's asking. We've seen the demos, the testimonials, those bold claims about changing everything. But marketing can be pretty persuasive. Sometimes reality just doesn't quite match up.
Yeah, for sure. So let's put on our skeptical hats and see what people are actually saying about their experiences with DeepSeek. We've been going through user reviews, analyses, case studies, trying to get a, more realistic picture. And it's interesting, we're seeing a real mix of reactions.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, there are definitely users who are completely blown away by DeepSeek.
Wow.
They're saying it's transformed their businesses, helped them launch new ventures, or even just made their work so much easier.
So some people are actually getting those incredible results we've been hearing about. Building websites in minutes, creating amazing videos, all that.
It seems like it, yeah. We've seen small business owners using DeepSeek to design these professional-looking websites, and they have zero coding experience.
I've seen those. They look great.
And marketers are creating high-converting landing pages super fast. We've even seen artists making these mind-blowing 8K videos that look like they were done by a professional studio.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's really living up to its potential for some people. But you said it's a mixed bag, so what are the less enthusiastic users saying?
Well, as with any new software, there are some reports of glitches and bugs, especially early on.
Sure, that makes sense.
But DeepSeek seems to be addressing those issues pretty quickly with updates.
Good, good. Anything else?
Yeah, one thing that comes up a lot is the learning curve.
Okay, what do you mean?
DeepSeek has a ton of features, which is great, but it can be a lot to take in, especially for someone new to AI.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like getting one of those, what do they call those, super high-tech 3D printers?
Exactly.
You can do amazing things with them, but you need to put in the time to learn how to use them right.
Right. And while DeepSeek does offer tutorials and stuff, some users feel like they could use a bit more guidance, especially if they're not that comfortable with technology.
So a little hand-holding for the newbies.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. Now, what about the quality of the results? I mean, people might be able to use it, but are they getting that high quality that DeepSeek promises?
Well, that's where things get a little tricky because quality can be pretty subjective, especially when you're talking about things like content creation and design.
True, true. What one person thinks is amazing, another person might not be so impressed with.
Exactly. But luckily, there have been some independent analyses that have compared DeepSeek's outputs to other AI tools, for things like writing and videos.
Oh, interesting. And what did they find?
Overall, DeepSeek did pretty well. Good speed, accuracy, and the quality was generally considered high.
So it's not just marketing fluff. They're actually delivering on some of those promises.
It seems so, yeah. But it's super important to remember that DeepSeek, it's a tool.
Okay.
And like any tool, how effective it is depends on the person using it.
Right, you could give someone a top-of-the-line chef's knife, but that doesn't automatically make them a master chef.
Exactly. So it's really important to go in with realistic expectations. DeepSeek's not a magic solution that'll solve all your problems overnight. It's a powerful tool, but it takes effort, learning, and a willingness to, experiment.
So it's more about enhancing human creativity and expertise, not replacing them.
Right. It can help you generate ideas, get past those creative roadblocks, and produce better stuff more efficiently. But you still need to bring the vision, the strategy, that human element.
I like that. Okay, so we've looked at the good and the bad, talked about realistic expectations, but I think it's time to step back and think about the bigger picture. What does DeepSeek mean for society as a whole?
That's the big question, isn't it? AI is moving so fast, and platforms like DeepSeek are giving us a glimpse into this future where machines can do things we used to think only humans could do.
It's exciting, but a little scary too,
Yeah.
right? Like, what does it all mean for us?
Totally. And it's why we need to be really thoughtful and responsible about how we develop and use AI. We need to think about the ethical implications, make sure it's being used for good, and address its impact on jobs and the economy.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but how we choose to use it.
Exactly. We have this huge responsibility to guide AI in a way that benefits everyone, promotes fairness, and protects our values.
Well said. Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into DeepSeek, what are the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
First, DeepSeek is a seriously powerful AI platform that's already making waves. It can do amazing things from content creation to design, and it's only going to get more sophisticated.
But it's not magic. It's a tool,
Mhm.
and its effectiveness depends on the user.
And most importantly, we all need to be part of the conversation about AI's future. We have to make sure it's used to benefit humanity, not harm it.
Couldn't agree more. Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive into DeepSeek. I hope everyone found it insightful. Be sure to check out our other deep dives into the world of AI. There's a lot more to explore. Thanks for listening.